Good morning, boys and girls, friends, lovers, children of all ages. I'd like to. I'm up to some good trouble this morning, but I don't really know what's going on. No, that's a falsehood. We are on our way to a super important location to do a little education. Do you know what your jury rights are? Do you know why, in this day and age, it is so important to know about jury trials? Good morning, rare or Portland protesters exposed. I'm not sure. I'm kind of interested in what Portland protesters exposed is. Are you doxing people that are protesting in Portland? Not sure. Anyway, we're going to talk about jury nullification while I drive this morning, because I had the catastrophic experience of living with somebody named Eric Brandt. And Eric Brandt does more for America sitting on the couch than most of us do all day. And I'm going to say that because on this day, we're going to educate people about their constitutional rights to knowledge, to thank people for the esteemed service of serving on a jury. When we talk about this, we got to talk about a lot of things. I'm driving by the Denver County Jail right now, where 3 human beings are encaged. The crime that they are encaged for is kidnapping, or the attempted kidnapping, of peace officers. And for those of you who don't know what's going on, let's take it to the top. Gotten quite a lot of the Portland criminals arrested. I want to know more about this. When you say Portland criminals, are you talking about peace officers who enact beatings on their wives? Are we discussing looters and rioters? Are we talking about people who blow red lights and pee on trees? I really want to know who the Portland criminals are. In Colorado, we have a state ruling by the Supreme Court that permits the education, the leafleting of persons who are being called to serve on a pool for jury selection. These persons can be directly targeted as such, and we're going to go work on some of that today, educating those people. So, jury nullification, and I want to educate you on your rights as a juror. The right of a juror is to use their conscience. People who use their conscience when voting on the alleged guilt of a human being. Now, the guilt comes in many forms. The guilt could be that you didn't take a fucking picture. Like Michael Whitney, who demanded a jury trial for his arrest for not taking pictures of people on a public 16th Street walking mall. And we are going to talk about people who did not commit acts of rape or murder, or who maybe are being persecuted for not having a house to live in, not having a toilet to piss in, not having access to drinking water, so they broke onto somebody's unfenced property and turned on their water spigot, thereby stealing water from them, life-saving natural resources. All of these things are key in our world today, because when we look at what kind of charges people get for things that they didn't do, we might have to ask about protesters who didn't break windows but were arrested for such activity, or who didn't kidnap anybody but are currently in cages with the felonious efforts, felony attempted, basically is what I'm trying to say there, of kidnapping people because they surrounded a building and demanded justice for members of the society. When this happens, we have to consider a variety of factors, and one of these is, what is the Constitution? What is free speech? If we as people are not permitted in participating in the task. So today's task is educating people who are called as voters of a society, in a society, to judge their peers, their fellow human beings, and to ask, is the government's prosecution of this case A, warranted? Was there actually a crime committed? Is there some kind of conspiracy to omit evidences, to omit instructions, to omit the truth, and that happens at trial all the time, right? What most jurors don't understand is that the evidence they receive in a jury trial is pre-approved by a judge before the trial occurs. In most cases, right? If there's some video evidence that a witness took, if there's a halo camera, all those things are seen, are reviewed by all the parties in advance. Right? The game of going to jury trial is a game where the district attorney, the government, feels that they have a right or a purpose in prosecuting something for a victim's crime. I'm assuming, because if there's no victim, I don't believe that there's a crime. But in a victim crime, we would assume that some wrong was factually done to a human being, and that human being is by saying I'm not guilty, they're proclaiming their innocence. And there are few circumstances where proclaiming your innocence actually demands that your charges be executed at a higher degree, at a higher rate. And so what's a higher rate? A higher rate is if you say, I refuse to plead guilty and take a plea deal for a year to 2 years in jail for something that I am adamant that I did not do, then fine, we're going to go to jury trial, and if we find you guilty, your minimum sentence is going to be 3 times that of the plea deal, because you refuse to claim guilt for something that you demand you're innocent for. So that's, I don't know why you fuckers in the chat can't stay on topic. We're not talking about wage this morning. We're talking about jury nullification and educating juries. Okay? And that's what I'd like the conversation to be about this morning, so that you guys have links. I haven't seen one blue link come through this morning from moderators showing the FIJA information for the Fully Informed Jury Association. And I'd like to see that kind of stuff in our conversation this morning, because a fully informed jury is what we're here to talk about. And we're here to talk about double jeopardy, right? If you've been tried for something, you're not supposed to be tried again by the government if you're found not guilty. If a court exonerates you of your guilt because a court finds that you're innocent. I don't know why I got up at 5 o'clock this morning to hand out flyers to educate jurors at 7:45, or maybe earlier, at the Jefferson County Courthouse, because a man is going to trial on something that an appeals court found him not guilty of after he was found guilty in a court of law. Why are we here for this? We're here for this because Eric Brandt has an area restriction on the Jefferson County Courthouse. He can't be there. That's the truth. Because he educates people about their rights. And it is not the right of the government to kidnap your children because they don't like your belief systems. It is not unheard of that Eric, while speaking his truth, would get arrested for staying silent as a form of harassment and disorderly conduct. It is not right that somebody would prove their innocence in a court of law and then be jailed for months for not scrubbing their internet, not clearing their databases, or being accused of doing so. It's also not fair that a human being will get arrested for catching their partner in adulterous behavior. I find you fucking somebody else in my house, I should not go to jail for that. All of the things I'm saying, however, are fact this morning. And while it's not statistically probable that a person watching my channel would be called to the jury pool this morning, it's possible. So I've been punished for honoring the Constitution. Free speech is protest education, right? So if I use the Constitution to say that there's no fucking water, there's no free bathrooms, and the police are here to persecute people who educate you about the dire state of America today, then I can go to jail. And it'll take 2 years for my civil rights case to be filed. If you go to the courthouse and you protest the kidnapping of children by social services without a fair hearing, without the rights of the children and the parents being heard, then you get arrested for protesting it, you might be Eric Brandt, right? You might be Eric Brandt if the law of the land states when and where you can use the word fuck, because you set case history, you set case law. You might be Eric Brandt if you have the right to hand out papers to educate people about what the court is not going to educate them about. One of the founding principles of our country is no taxation without representation. Representation means that in a court of law, I cannot be found guilty of a crime if my peers do not have a chance to be at the table, to hear the facts and to decide for themselves. And so today, we look for a court of law that I just drove past the entrance of. Excuse me. We look for a court of law to have some people educated at. Right, nothing's free. Taxpayers pay for everything. The thin air that government prints money on a gold standard that has been taken away from us. Forcefully, by the way, if you do remember that the gold was taken from the people by the government under threat of arrest. And the jury is being taken from the people by the courts, the rights of the jury, as a court will not declare what the jury rights are to silence an unjust prosecution. Why do I say silence an unjust prosecution? I should say to silence an unjust persecution because it is a government that chooses to prosecute, to persecute, to deem who is punishable in a court of law and what cases actually make it to a court of law. Those cases do not tend to be things that the government thinks that they are going to lose. These do not tend to be things that the government believes are unfair arrests, illegal activities. So, I don't have a tripod, and I don't have a crew. I do have a new toy, a gimbal, but it's not set to go yet. I was having some problems with it this morning. So I'm going to lean my information out here on an angle and let you listen and watch to the best of our abilities as we find the jurors that are called to serve today. I'm going to catch up with that now. Good morning, sir. How you doing today? Well, can I offer you a piece of information as I thank you for being called in for jury service today? Our founding fathers in the Constitution had some important things to say about jury duty. Thank you. All right, you're gonna rest right here, folks. You're gonna be right there, enjoying my work. Good morning, sir. Some important jury information this morning. If you're being called to serve on one, or might need one to represent you in a court of law. Thank you. Morning, sir. That's some important information about juries and their role in our government. Whether you're called to serve on one, or you might need one to represent you. Thank you. The high and honorable act of serving on a jury is so important. Our founding fathers wrote extensively about it. Morning, ma'am. Interested in some information about juries this morning? Thank you. Huh? You too. Morning, sir. I'd like to offer you some information on jury service. Thank you for answering the call today. We have a lot of rights the founding fathers of our country and the Constitution.
I'm not worried about it.
Wrote, spoke about. It's an important and very necessary position to serve on juries. Thank you for answering the call today. Good morning, ma'am. Can I give you a flyer on information about jury service? Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. That's very important information on the role of a jury, whether you're being called to serve or maybe need one to represent you this morning. Our founding fathers wrote a lot about the jury, sir. Morning. Care for any information on jury rights?
No, that's okay.
Thank you. Morning.
Morning.
Care for any information on jury rights?
No thanks.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Offering some good reading material today. The rights and role of a jury in our country today. Is this something to review? Thank you. Good morning, ladies. We got some important flyers on juries and their role in our country today. You're here to serve on a jury team, or whether you're being entered on a criminal case, the role of a jury is one of the most honored and important roles in our country. We're glad to offer you some reading material of life. The Constitution is based, the country is based on the role of a jury. I offer you a flyer, please. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Good.
Can I offer you this, please? This is information on serving on a jury. The things the judge won't tell you. The most honorable thing you can do today is answering that call for jury service. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I've got information on the role of a jury. If you're being called to serve on a jury today, or maybe you need one to represent you, love to educate you on why this is the most honorable thing we need today. Are people who are fully educated about their rights as jurors and why it is so important to judge the role. Good morning, folks. There's some flyers on the role of a jury over here. If you're here for jury service, we want to thank you. Serving on a jury is the most honorable thing that we can ask of you today, sir. There's some information on your rights. We hope you'll serve honorably today. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, folks. Whether you're here to answer a criminal case or a summons to serve on a jury, the role of a jury is very important in our country and to our Constitution. Can I have some information, ma'am, on the role of a jury and your rights? Whether you're here to answer a jury summons or to answer a criminal complaint. Good morning, sir. Did you know that as a juror, you have a right? That's a very important information. Whether you serve on a jury ever, or whether you need one to represent you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, folks. We're in on information today to educate people on the rights and roles of the jury. Did you know that if you serve on a jury, you have the right to use your conscience? Even if you think a person is guilty, but that the government should not be prosecuting. Ma'am, there's a flyer on the corner there for you if you'd like one. Your rights and roles as a juror, the things a judge won't tell you. We thank you for answering the call to jury service today. It's very important. When you sit on a jury, you may vote on a verdict according to your conscience. Most judges tell you that you may consider only the facts, that you may not let your conscience, your opinion of the law, or the motives of the defendant affect your decision. But that is false information. A juror has a right to use their conscience when deciding the guilt of the person being prosecuted. Our country was founded on the basis of no taxation without representation. And serving on a jury is the most honorable thing, sir. Can I offer you some information on what the judge won't tell you?
Thanks.
Thank you. Good morning. Would you like some information on jury rights? Fantastic. Thank you. Good morning, sir. Did you know that jurors have a right to use their conscience when deciding if to be good or innocent of the interview? Educational information, sir.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Mark, what's your educational moment? Well, please, sir. You know the jury rights? Thank you. Good morning, ma'am. You aware of your rights to have or a jury to represent you, or what your rights are to serve on a jury? One of the biggest misconceptions is you don't have the right to use your conscience to determine if a person should even be prosecuted for why they're being put on trial. You too, thank you. Good morning, ma'am. Jury service is one of the most important things we can ask out of our citizens. Some information you might not know.
I'm good, thank you so much.
Did you know that you have a right to use your conscience today? Good morning, sir. Are you aware of the role of a jury in the world today? Your right to have a jury and the rights of a jury. Government will not tell you all the things you need to know. Jurors have the right to use their conscience to determine if a human being should even be prosecuted, if the law is just or legal. Our country was founded on the ideas, good morning, sir, of no representation. If you're going to tax me, I have to be represented. The role of jurors, please take the time to read, and thank you for serving today. Thank you for answering the call to jury service. Some information you may want to know. Serving on a jury is the most honorable call to the Constitution. That's right, folks. Jurors have the right to use their conscience to determine if the person on trial today should even be here and if this is a good use of our government's money. There are yellow flyers over here, so you can get one at a safe social distance. But the highest call today is to serve on a jury. If you don't know that you can use your conscience, I'm asking you to take the flyer. Good morning, ma'am. Thanks for answering the call to jury service. There is some important information for you to know. You might not hear it from the judge, but the Constitution says so. Very important stuff here, folks. Thank you for answering the honorable call of jury service. It is the highest way to defend the Constitution today. Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
Thank you for answering the call. Please know that serving on a jury is the most important way to defend the Constitution today. It's the most high and honorable call to serve on a jury. No taxation without representation is the foundation of our country. Serving on a jury is that representation. There are many truths you might not hear from a judge, like the fact that you get to use your conscience when sitting as a juror. You're here for jury service. It's important information. Serving on a jury is the most high and honorable call of our Constitution. To defend so today is something that I will say thank you, sir. Here's some important information for you. All right. Did you know that if you do not feel a person is being prosecuted justly, you as a juror have a right to use your conscience and vote not guilty? If you feel that the government is wasting money on a prosecution, if they're trying to charge somebody twice, that's double jeopardy, and it's illegal. Good morning, sir. I'm great. Serving on a jury is a high and honorable call, and we thank you today. I have flyers on constitutionally protected information the judge may not tell you.
I'm just curious what message you were
Here you go. You're welcome to have a copy.
So what message are you trying to
The message is that jurors have rights. Good morning, sir. Would you like some information on your jury rights?
Not today, thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we're more than welcome to express your opinion. We're just curious. Just please don't explain anybody coming.
Not stopping anybody from walking. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Sure, we appreciate it. We're not here to bring it to this. We're not sure that everybody has the opportunity to come in and their business.
Not stopping anybody from doing business. Thank you. Great.
Did you have a good weekend?
It was good. Thank you. How was your weekend? Good. Yeah, usually.
All right. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful day.
No,
sir.
you too, sir.
You want a water or anything?
No, I would probably enjoy the same rights that criminal defendants have in the courtroom. And since they're not allowed to have water in the courtroom, I'll refrain from having water out here.
They actually do, because, well, no, not with
No,
COVID.
because as I enter that building, my water is taken from me. And the only way I'm allowed water in the courtroom is through plastic consumption, something that is morally against my practices.
So they do now allow water in, only because with the COVID, they discontinued the water fountains over there.
Okay, interesting. When did that happen?
As soon as COVID hit.
No,
So-
that's not true. We had a problem just at the Eric Grant trial hearing last week or two ago.
But so as long as the water bottle is in a sealed container, they allow it. All right, thank you.
That's a trash consumption. That's against my spiritual practices. Good morning, ma'am. I'd like to offer you some important information about the role of the jury in our country today. It is the highest honor to defend our Constitution. Good morning, ma'am. I'll be a flyer on your rights as a juror today. It's a high and honorable call to serve on a jury. Good morning, ma'am. There's a flyer over there on the yellow one. Information on your rights as a juror, the things the judge may not tell you. Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for answering the call today. I'd like to offer you a flyer about your rights as a juror. Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great day. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you're here for a criminal case, make sure you demand a jury trial. Jurors have a right to determine whether a person is even being prosecuted in a moral way. They have a right to use their conscience on the call to serve. And that is one of the most important information we want you to know if you're here to serve today on a jury and defend our Constitution. There are flyers available, yellow ones right there.
Thank you.
Thank you. We thank you all who are here. If you're here for criminal prosecution, demand a jury. If you're here on jury summons, know that you have a right to use your conscience. You have a right to judge your government, and you have a right to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. Serving on a jury is a high moral calling. It is the calling of defense to the world that we live in, to the Constitution of the United States of America. It is a call to use your moral beliefs. It is a call to use your conscience when you serve on a jury, to judge your peers as you would be judged, and to judge your government for their use of your tax dollars. Good morning, ma'am. I'm well. If you're here for jury service, there's a yellow flyer of education on this pedestal between us. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. If you're here for criminal charges or if you're here on a jury summons, please grab a yellow flyer. We want you to know about the role of a jury in the country today, the defense of the Constitution of the United States of America, and the ability to use your conscience, ma'am. The yellow flyer. Very important information. Something a judge might not tell you, but the Constitution guarantees you. No taxation without representation. That was the foundation of our country. That representation is called upon today in jury service. The yellow flyer is information about the role of a jury. Whether you're here on criminal charges or whether you're being called to serve, please grab a yellow flyer to learn about the role of a jury today. Serving on a jury is a high and honorable duty to defend the Constitution of the United States of America from all tyranny, including that of our government when they prosecute and waste our tax dollars unjustly. A juror has the right to use their conscience on all matters in a trial, and the judge may not tell you that. There are yellow flyers available. For the role of a jury today, it must defend the Constitution of the United States of America. To serve on a jury is a high and honorable call. Good morning, ma'am. That yellow flyer is about juries, the juror service, and why it is so important in our country today. If you're called to serve on a jury today, if you're called here because of a criminal case, know the role of the jury, the role of representation, judging by your peers, the ability to use your conscience to determine should this person even be in court today. Good morning, ma'am. Can I have your flyer on the role of the jury? Good morning. This jury info flyer is going to be like them. She was late for jury service. Morning, sir. Whether you're here on a criminal complaint, whether you're here on a jury summons, I want to make sure that people are educated on the role of the jury and its importance if you may be called. It's the highest defense of our Constitution today is to serve on a jury. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you're here on a criminal complaint or called to serve. The importance of a jury is knowledge you should have. I have some flyers over here at a safe distance. Know why a jury can use their conscience on a case. Know why serving on a jury is a defense of the Constitution of the United States of America. Jurors have the right to judge not only the defendant, but they have a right to judge the government for the use of their tax dollars. No taxation without representation is the base of our Constitution and the founding of our country. The rights of the people. And today, if you're being called to serve on a jury, we want to thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your life to impact that of another. Thank you for being here to defend the Constitution of the United States through your jury service, through the use of your conscience, through the use of judging whether taxpayer dollars are being used effectively. And if you're here on a criminal complaint, learn why a jury is necessary for you. Jury notification. That is absolutely correct. Because in this day and age where we see police arresting people for some of the stupidest things.
I got it.
Thank you very much. Hopefully you weren't here for jury selection today.
I was not.
Okay. Morning, folks. On my left, there are flyers about jury information. If you're here to call to serve on a jury, whether you're called on a criminal case, or whether you're a member of the government, know why a jury is important. Be reminded about the defense of the Constitution of the United States of America in your world today. How can people get fair trials if the jurors are told they cannot use their conscience? Many people don't get fair trials. Jurors often end up apologizing to the person they've convicted or to the community for acquitting a defendant when something of evidence of guilt seems perfectly clear. There is something definitely wrong in our society today when judges tell jurors they are not allowed to use their conscience. There is something wrong in our world today when juries apologize for convicting innocent people. They should never have to explain that they wanted to use their conscience but were told unjustly by a judge that they could not. Good morning, sir. There's a yellow flyer here for your review. We want to thank you for doing the most honorable thing today, serving on a jury and answering the call to the Constitution. Please know what your rights are so that the judge does not mislead you. I wanted to use my conscience, but the judge made us take an oath that might not have been constitutional. Those yellow flyers are jury information, folks. If you're here to serve on a jury, thank you for answering the call. Use your conscience today, folks. You're allowed to, regardless what the judge says. The Constitution was based, our country was based on the rights of human beings. And serving on a jury is one of the most high and honorable ways to defend the Constitution today. Using your conscience while serving on that jury is the call. Understand that the laws can be wrong. that the application of law can be unjust. And when you answer the call to jury service, you are answering the call to use your conscience. There are yellow flyers at a safe distance between us for information on jury service. Answering the call to serve on a jury is something I want to thank you for. Defend the Constitution today. If you're here on criminal charges, demand a jury trial. Yellow flyers are available for you. If you're here on jury summons, answer the call. Defend the Constitution. Use your conscience today. There are yellow flyers available to learn about the role of a jury, to learn about the call to jury service, and why so many juries get it wrong. When the judge says you cannot use your conscience, they're misinforming you. Good morning, folks. There are yellow flyers over here for information on jury service. The founding of our Constitution is based on taxation and representation is what jurors do to defend the Constitution. Well, it usually is, but it doesn't resonate without the mask. That's why my flyers are at you have a better chance of getting hit by a meteor before the election than getting COVID. We've beaten it mostly in Colorado. Statistically, there is a greater chance of getting hit by a meteor as a planet than there is getting COVID in Colorado right now. But I put my flyers at a safe distance, so you can get one without talking directly to me. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for answering the call to jury service. There are yellow flyers outside of my reach to educate you about your rights as a juror. The things the judge may not tell you. Things like the fact that you have a right to use your conscience when serving on a jury. You have a right to judge your government, to determine if they're using your tax dollars effectively. If somebody goes to jury trial to declare their innocence, you should think that they might be innocent. Sir, there's a yellow flyer here for you on this side. Educate yourself about the rights of a jury, the rights to serve on a jury. And why would somebody demand that they go to jury trial if they are actually guilty? When you serve on a jury, serve the Constitution of the United States of America. Consider that a person demanding a jury trial actually thinks they're innocent. And sir, if you're here for a call of service, we've got flyers that are yellow available to educate you. Good morning, sir. I'd like to encourage you to grab a yellow flyer, learn about the role of a jury, and how it defends the Constitution every day. Thank you. That's right, folks. There are yellow flyers available. Learn about the role of a jury. Learn about the role of a juror. Learn about defending the Constitution today. These yellow flyers have information for jurors that you might not hear from the judge. Serving on a jury is the most high and honorable thing that you could do today. Defend your country. Defend your Constitution. Serve with an open mind on a jury. Think about why a person is claiming their innocence. Why they're willing to face more time in jail than taking a plea deal. Because when somebody goes to trial, they're trying to say I didn't do this. And the government should not be prosecuting me. Sir, there's some information in a yellow flyer at a safe distance for you to learn about why it is high and honorable to not walk away from jury call today. Do not say, I've got more important stuff to do. Serve on the jury. Be willing to defend the Constitution. Be willing to represent your fellow human being. When somebody calls themselves to trial, they're not taking a plea deal. That means they think they're innocent. So use your conscience. Answer the call to jury service with an open mind. Answer the call because the Constitution asks you to. Why are there people on death row who get taken off of death row? Because the jury can get it wrong. Good morning. I thank you for coming today to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. By being willing to serve on a jury and to be educated to use your conscience over somebody's innocence and guilt, you are answering the call that people died for when they formed this country. No taxation without representation. I ask you to honestly not try to get out of your service today and to see what is going on in your government and why they're prosecuting people. Are they spending your tax dollars correctly? Is the Constitution and the law of being applied in a just way? There's important information in that yellow flyer.
Sure, I'm curious.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Whether you're here on a call for criminal charges or a summons to serve on a jury, remember that the jury is the last stand defending our Constitution. Our country was formed on the basis of no taxation without representation. The call to serve on a jury is that representation. It is the last chance that we get to judge our government and whether they're applying the Constitution of the United States of America in an equal and just way. Good morning, ma'am. If you have a jury summons, there's a flyer here for you. Yep. Good morning, ma'am. You're here for a jury service. The yellow flyer is for you. You are honoring the Constitution by answering the call today, and I thank you. Please remember you get to use your conscience. Ma'am, this yellow flyer is for you. You're being called to jury service today. You have a right to use your conscience and to defend the Constitution. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you're here for jury service, please pick up a yellow flyer as I thank you for defending our Constitution. Remember that you have a right to use your conscience when you serve on a jury. Remember that sometimes we get it wrong and we need to take our time to use our spirit, our brain, and the fact that our founding fathers, this country was formed on the need to have a jury. And there's a yellow flyer at a safe distance for you on the panels here. Jury service is a high and honorable call. You get to use your conscience to judge your government today, not just the accused. The accused go to trial because they claim they're innocent. They don't take a plea deal when they're not guilty. Please, if you're called to jury service today, grab a yellow flyer. Learn about your rights. Learn about how this country was founded upon the fact that we need to listen to what our government is trying to do against us and determine if it's constitutional. Here for jury service, sir. Grab a flyer. Nope. Thank you. Good morning, folks. If you've been summoned to court today for jury service, we ask that you grab a yellow flyer. Know why serving on a jury is a call to the Constitution of the United States of America. Good morning, folks. You have a flyer for call to jury service. Please grab a yellow flyer. Learn about your rights as a juror, including the right to use your conscience. Flyers are set apart, safe distance right there, ma'am. Can I offer you one by hand? Thank you for answering the call to defend the Constitution today. Serving on a jury is a defense of the Constitution, and there are yellow flyers at a safe distance so you can learn more. Serving on a jury is very important. The government often gets it wrong without our help. Serving on a jury is one of the reasons why we went to war, to be independent from England. Because we were being charged on criminal crimes without having our day in court, being defended by our peers. If you are here on a call to jury service, I ask you to take a yellow flyer. Learn about your rights and how you can defend the Constitution today. That's right, you too, gentlemen. If you don't defend the Constitution, it will die without you. Yes, folks, he said, fuck the Constitution. That's what that man said. Good morning, ma'am. If there's a flyer there for you if you're here on jury service, defend the Constitution. Serve on a jury, serve with pride. If you're here on criminal charges, demand a jury to judge you. On the jury service summons, there's a yellow flyer with information for you. If you're not, there's still a yellow flyer with information for you. The call to serve on a jury, to answer the jury summons, the Constitution has. To serve on a jury is one of the reasons that we need you to defend the Constitution, to use your conscience, to know what the rights are. Why would somebody actually demand a jury trial if they could have gotten lesser charges? Because they think they're innocent. Take a yellow flyer, know why you're serving today. People take plea deals when they're guilty. People fight and demand trials when they're innocent. When you fail to serve on a jury and answer the jury summons, you're failing your duty to your fellow Americans. When you serve on a jury, you're answering the call of those who died to form a more perfect union. To answer the summons for a jury is to demand that you are holding a space to represent your tax dollars at work today. People take plea deals when they are guilty. People demand a jury trial when they believe they are innocent of a crime. Defend the Constitution today. Please take a yellow flyer. Please serve on the jury. Please be willing. There's a flyer at a safe distance for you, ma'am. The judge will not always tell you your rights, but serving on a jury is the most honorable thing you can do today. Serve with your conscience. Defend the Constitution. Answer the summons to a jury call. Be willing to serve. Be willing to use your conscience to judge the guilt or the innocence of a human being that demands a trial because they're unwilling to say, I'm guilty for something that I didn't do. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you're here for jury summons, there are yellow flyers with information on why answering the call to jury service is the most honorable thing you can do today. Defend the Constitution. Defend your rights as an American citizen. Answer the call to jury service. Don't run away from your call to judge another human being and the government. Possible. There's two calls, one at 7:45 and one at 8:15. And the 8:15 call is to make sure they have enough people. And to thank you for slowing down to thank me and tell me I can leave. The jury pool is full, and there's only one trial today, and they're charging somebody that the appellate court found not guilty. But I'm not telling the case. Just educating. I thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Good morning. There's information on juries on the outside if you need some. Good morning. Hey, everybody. Thank you, Eric. Because if I'm going to be here, you got to be here. Like, I'm clownish this morning. Get my shit ready. Now I got to go call on businesses. So I drove all the way to Golden. I might as well go find some clients. So the jury pool is full. They have received all the people they need today, and they are satisfactorily sending people away who cannot serve. So we're going to take our flyers for the next day. We're going to encourage you to at me, Venmo, at Cut The Plastic, at Twitter, at Instagram, at this YouTube channel right here, right? Make sure that Alpha Man, Kumi, over what he said over the phone call. I'm not sure what he said over the phone call, which phone call. He's made a lot of phone calls. I've made a lot of phone calls. Wow, who me? Seriously? Guess what? You're going in timeout. Think about what you said. Because you could not come in, who me, to a jury with that mental attitude. You would not get to serve on that jury because you walked in with bias. So we're going to time you out and let you think about it for a second, huh? I don't tolerate such tyranny on my page. It's the Energizer activist. Yeah, I'm fucking tired, man. I woke up at 5 o'clock for this crap. So I'm going to go inside, use the bathroom before I leave because it's a public building. If you tell me I can't, I'm going to have a fit. But I have to put my mask on. So we'll do that. It says, don't enter the building without a mask. Good morning. Where's the public washroom?
I'm sorry, sir?
The public washroom?
I can't hear you.
The public washroom.
Oh, there's one on that side to the right or to the left.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
See, I was not denied. So that's good. And people, I don't know what all this is doing. I see something about defending people who want their fathers are taken away from their children at gunpoint, and they never get to see them again. Right? It's a beautiful view out the backside over here. And there's a table today that's all about the census. And this is like everyone counts. There's a whole bunch of free pens over here, so we'll take a couple of those. Never hurts to have a free pen, right? This is just a table of crap sitting here for the census with nobody to monitor it. But there are pads of